Hello and welcome to this new episode of Daughters of Narcissistic Mothers podcast. I'm Matilde and I'm your host. I'm an inner transformation mentor supporting women in healing mother wounds through the 10110 Weeks program and through Reclaim Your Fullness online community. To know more about these offerings, sign up to the newsletter or visit the website womenreclaimingtheirfullness.me. Now for the topic of today, we're going to talk about what is actually happening when your narcissistic mother tells you that you're the one with problems. Have you been told by your mother you are the one who needs help? Have you been told you are the one who needs to go and see a professional? And if you have been told this, what I'm going to say to this is, if only your mother knew how true and also untrue that is. True because you deserve support after all she has put you through. You deserve a space for your healing and for reconnecting with your authentic self away from her toxicity. And whether that's therapy, mentoring, community, energy work, whatever modality calls to you, you deserve to give yourself the time and space and support to reclaim your life. Now that's one aspect of it, but it's also so incredibly untrue what she's saying, because you are not broken and in need to be fixed. You're certainly not problematic, crazy, or too sensitive, or too emotional, or too reactive, or too numb, or whatever other label she likes giving you. So this may happen, for example, when you're trying to tell your mother that there's something not working in the way she's treating you. Maybe you're reacting to something she's said or she's done to you, a way she's mistreated you or ridiculed you or put you down, or whatever it is that your mother does that you're not okay with anymore. So you're trying to set a boundary and your mother just turns to you and tells you that it's you that actually have issues, that it's you that have probably mental health problems, that it's you that need to go see a professional, and that she's 100% fine. And when your narcissistic mother is telling you something like this, that you are the one that needs help, two things are happening, which we need to be very aware of, because it's really easy to believe her. It's really easy to fall into the trap of self-doubt and believe that there may be some truth in what she's telling us. And some narcissistic mothers, especially if we're going into the more vulnerable type and the ones that have been like really super hyper protective and hyper smothering of us as daughters, they can be very convincing in making us believe that we don't understand and don't know and that we are the ones with problems. So it's really, really important to keep in mind that when your narcissistic mother does that, so flips the problem back to you, two things are happening. One is gaslighting, and the second one is control. So let's talk about each one separately for a moment. So first of all, let's talk about gaslighting. So the way a narcissistic mother will tell you that you need therapy or whatever support she likes to advise you to go to is a way of gaslighting you into believing that you are the one with problems, while your mother is perfectly fine as she is. So she wants you and others also to believe that she's loving, even because she's clearly caring about you, otherwise she would not be telling you to go and get help. And this is gaslighting, and more gaslighting. In my own experience with my mother, I was told by her that I was depressed. She even told me that it ran in the family, that it was in my genetics. She used to tell me, your father has been depressed all his life, so you are too. And she frequently said this to me when I was a young teenager. And I recently enough, but like in growing up, I called bullshit on this. I was just suffering from all the shit she was putting me through, and I was just a teenager. I wasn't depressed. I was just going through a lot of toxicity from her. And at other moments, she told me I lacked clarity and capacity to focus on one task for long enough to see it through. And that was, in her opinion, why I could not get anywhere meaningful with my work. So again, it was an issue that I needed to go get help with, in her opinion. And again, I called bullshit on that because I was just a kid in my early 20s who never felt safe to be creative, to express, and to focus on something without being interrupted by her outbursts. So again, gaslighting. That's all gaslighting. What is gaslighting? Because this is a word that's been used a lot, so you may have come across it already, or maybe not. So if it's the first time you're hearing it, gaslighting is defined as the practice of psychologically manipulating someone into questioning their own sanity, memory, or powers of reasoning. So effectively, you end up being the one that feels like you're the one that's got problem. You're the crazy one. You're seeing things. The purpose of this manipulation tactic is to mess with your head and with your capacity to know what is true for you, what feels real to you, introducing constant self-doubt and therefore the need to rely upon the other person who seems to know best. So the narcissistic mother does that so that she becomes the beacon. She becomes the person that knows best. You see, you are too sensitive, you are too naive, you are too stupid, you are overreacting all the time, all of these things. You are the narcissist, you are the one that has issues, and I'm the one that's fine, so I know best and I'm gonna guide you, so you're gonna need me. That's what a narcissistic mother does through gaslighting. So how can you protect yourself from this? Because this is very tricky, and you may also encounter this in other relationships, of course, in your life, but with a narcissistic mother is particular because this goes on from forever, from since you were a child. She's never really acknowledged your capacity to have an inner guidance system that works, your capacity to have an inner wisdom and have your opinions and have a compass inside of yourself that actually tells you what feels right for you and what doesn't. She's never acknowledged that fact. So if you have a narcissistic mother, you've been conditioned, you've been reared by your mother to believe that whatever should be your inner compass inside of yourself, it's actually a broken system that is not working, and therefore she has to be the one that tells you how things are, that guides you, that actually knows best. So it's really important to protect yourself from this, and I'm going to give you five key points that you can implement to protect yourself from this gaslighting that happens. And gaslighting is a bigger topic. We could talk about it in a way longer episode focusing only on that. Here we're talking more about, okay, so you are trying to make a point to your mother. Maybe you're setting boundaries. Maybe you're telling her that certain behaviors are not acceptable anymore, and she's coming back to you telling you you're the one that needs to see someone. You're the one that needs help. You're the one that isn't understanding what's happening because you're broken and I know best. Okay, so how do you protect yourself? First of all, spot it. Become aware of what gaslighting is and how it works so you can learn to recognize it. Second, don't engage in conversation with your mother where your mental health is in question. So the minute that your mother tells you something like, oh, but you're the one that has problems, that's a conversation ender. Your mental health is not in question. If you're perceiving something that she's doing to you as toxic, abusive, hurtful, and you're wanting to set a boundary, your inner system is telling you a boundary is needed here, your mental health is not in question. You have every right to protect yourself, especially with her, as in you are making a statement to her and she's coming back at you instead of going, okay, I get it, I understand, I want to know more, telling you you're the one that's got problems. that's just a conversation stopper no matter what. So do not engage in conversations where she's questioning your capacity to perceive reality. This is the place for a boundary. And that brings us to point number 3, set boundaries. If the conversation goes to questioning your perspective and your mental health, end it, leave, set boundaries. If you keep questioning my perspective, my perception of reality, if you keep telling me I'm the one with problems, I'm going to end this conversation right now. I'm going to leave. I'm not going to talk to you again. I'm going to hang the phone. Whatever that is. And also, another boundary that you can definitely set with your mother is, I am not discussing my mental health with you. If you insist, I'll end this conversation. Because you have every right to actually, as we said at the beginning, to seek support for things that you want to work with in your own life that may even have in regard of your mental health. You have every right to do that, but that is not a conversation you want to have with your narcissistic mother. That's not a topic you want to discuss with her. That's your thing. It's not safe to discuss it with her. So point number 4, keep records. This is really, really helpful in cases of gaslighting, and maybe you don't have journals from when you were younger or stuff like that. Maybe you've never kept journals, and that's okay. But if you can have some kind of records of facts that happened to you, and if you haven't for the past, you can start from now. So have a record so that this helps you being more grounded in your truth. It's something that you can go back to and go, no, actually, on that day, I really felt that that's how she treated me. These were the facts. These were the things. I have clients that even went and showed the record of messages either to me in confidence within one-on-one program or to friends that they trusted to get confirmation that, these messages are toxic. They are actually abusive. She's been abusive to me, and she's telling me that I'm the one with problems, that I'm the one that needs to go and seek professional help. But this is what she's writing to me. Wouldn't you agree? and it does help. It is a support to have someone there that can actually objectively, person that you trust. You can't do this with just that about anyone. You need to be very careful who you pick. If you've listened to the previous episode on flying monkeys, of course, don't go and do this and share things like this with anyone that is a common person between you and your narcissistic mother, because they can go report, they can turn into flying monkeys. That's unsafe. But someone that you can trust, like the professional that is helping you, like your mentor, like a safe community where you can do that, like a trusted friend that understands your situation. So having records and even get confirmation from someone that is impartial and that can see it objectively can really be supportive against this gaslighting thing. And then point number 5, which I already kind of touched on, do not discuss your mental health with your narcissistic mother ever. I would say just don't, because as I say, it's not a safe thing, but definitely don't do it in the hope of being validated and understood. And I know that we do that. We very often we use that, but don't you know that because of your behavior I'm now depressed, that I now need support and whatever. And I know that we do that to get a reaction, because in those moments that inner child wants to get acknowledged, wants to get validated, but it's unhelpful and unsafe, because your narcissistic mother is only ever going to use that information somehow against you. And she's not actually going to really get it, and she's not actually going to take responsibility. She's not going to really see you and understand you at all. So this is to speak about that first point, when your narcissistic mother is flipping it over and telling you that you're the one with problems. Gaslighting is one of the things that's happening. You learn to spot it, you don't engage, you set boundaries, you keep records, and you definitely don't discuss your mental health with your narcissistic mother. And if you've experienced any of this, you're welcome to share it in the comments, of course. The second aspect of it is the control. So maybe you're trying to set a boundary. Maybe you're in tears after she has made fun of you in front of other family members or friends. Maybe you're expressing frustration because she has yet again done something to hurt you. Maybe you went to her to confide a deep challenge you're having in your life, hoping to get some understanding. And she answered something like, "This has been going on long enough. You need to see someone who will help you. I have the right person for you." Or, "You have always been problematic since you were small. We had to bring you to all those professionals and you still haven't changed. What a waste of money. Now, if you would just do as you're told and go to this person to get help." Or, "You are this messed up because you keep refusing to go see the professional I told you to go to. Instead, you keep choosing others who are not good enough for you." And then the more subtle one, if you still are in a place where you trust your mother's judgment, which is, "I'm going to this good professional. Why don't we go together?" On this point, I want you to know that there's no shame in being in a place where you still rely on your mother like that and you still feel her advice should be followed. One of the aspects of maternal narcissism is enmeshment and the conditioning that our mother know best on everything. Of course, this isn't true. She doesn't know best, especially not on everything. Probably on nothing at all, actually. What she wants is to get her needs met, and control is one of those needs. And going to the same support with your narcissistic mother is not going to be helpful at all. She's not going to be there to take responsibility and admit to what she has done that has hurt you. She's only going to be there to use the support of a third person and control you even more, and in the process reinforce the story of how great she is. And this is really, really important to keep in mind, even if at times it can feel really, really tempting. I've gone to workshops together with my mother. I've never shared the therapist with my mother, but I have had some healers and supports that were the same person. I've done it, actually. I'm here thinking in my head, I've done it a good few times. And so that's why I say there's no shame. Don't feel bad about it. I mean, I've done it a good few times, meaning that after the first time, one could say I should have learned the lesson, and instead I just kept doing it. And it never worked. It actually never ever worked. It was always an absolute mess that ended up in some kind of triangulation on her part, using that third person that was the support in some way against me. Even in situations where we weren't going together as in at the same time, but we were still sharing this person that was some kind of healer, energy healer support of some sort, it still was extremely unhelpful and damaging. So it's not a good idea. I can't stress this point enough. In fact, it's highly likely that when your mother suggests a form of support for you, whether she's referring you to someone or she wants to go with you, what she's truly hoping is for you to fail at this, which she will make sure happens by triangulating, so that she can reinforce her story of her greatness and of your failing. That is ultimately the control. There can never be you breaking free, you actually truly healing, you actually truly empowering yourself, becoming empowered. So even if this support that she's advising you to go to is like a great person and it would be brilliant, the fact that she's involved in the entire thing, she's gonna make sure that you're not gonna succeed. And if against all odds you even manage a little bit of a success, she will want to make sure she was a part of it somehow, so that she can claim all the credit as she tells the story. Sort of like, I sent her to such and she's doing great now, but if I hadn't paid for those sessions, she would still be depressed. Or it was me who told such and such how to approach my daughter because I know best, I know her problems, and so on. So, has this ever happened to you? Does your mother have the approved type of support you need and criticizes any other of your choices? Has she tried to come to sessions with you or to contact the person you were seeing for support behind your back just to pry or to give her version of the story? I've actually seen this happen within my family in many cases, the prying, the triangulation between the mother and the support system, the attempts at getting involved, the needing to find out who the daughter is going to for support, all of it. And I've actually seen it with clients too. And none of it gives any helpful results. Bottom line is that anytime your mother is getting involved in the choice of where you seek support, this is an attempt at controlling you through triangulation. I have an episode on triangulation on this podcast, so I'm going to share the link in the description if you want to know more about how to spot triangulation and how to and to understand the concept better if it's the first time you're hearing about it. But triangulation in any case is when a third person gets involved, gets pulled in, and it becomes a triangle. So if it's yourself, your mother, and the support person, the professional, the therapist, the doctor, the energy healer, the yoga teacher, it doesn't matter who it is. This third person is going to be used by your narcissistic mother to control you. The story that this third person is going to hear, it's going to be a very convincing one by your narcissistic mother because they are incredibly skilled at telling the story that they want the other person to believe. And in a way that is going to make it really hard for that other third person to argue and not fall for her traps. So it's going to put you in a very difficult situation, and it's going to actually double up the gaslighting, because now not only you have your narcissistic mother that's telling you you've got problems, but you also have the professional you went to see or whoever that person is also agreeing with your narcissistic mother and also telling you you've got problems. And that, if you had self-doubt before, that's actually only going to make it worse. I will never forget the day that the person I went to, the therapist I went to, said to me that I was unfixable, so broken, that there was nothing that could be done with me. And I was only 23 at the time. So I will never forget that day. Because, of course, I believed it. Because if someone that is supposed to know so much is telling me this on top of my mother, well then it must be really, really true. So it's really, really important that you understand that your narcissistic mother, when she does that, when she tells you that you're the one that needs support and she brings forward who you're supposed to see, or she tries to find out who you're seeing, she just wants to make sure her version of the story is still the one taken as truth and that you remain under her control in the way she needs. It's not actually because she truly wants to help. Although she may disguise it as helping and caring, of course. So how do we deal with this? I'm going to give you another 5 things. So the same as for the gaslighting, even for this control and triangulation with the support person, there's 5 things to keep in mind. So first and foremost, keep your sources of support to yourself. They're for you only. They're not to be mixed up with your mother. Second, don't share with your mother what you share with your support team. You don't want to go and tell your mother what you've spoken about in your sessions with whoever it is that you are getting support from. Third, don't share with others who might report to your mother. Again, remember, any person that is a connection between you and your mother has the potential of becoming either a flying monkey or becoming some kind of source of information for your mother, because maybe they're just ignorant and naive about the whole dynamic of the narcissism. So they're not doing it intentionally, perhaps. They're not actually being mean to you, but they may report things that in their mind there's no harm in reporting, but it's going to be very, very harmful to you when they report this to your narcissistic mother, because she's going to use them. So do not share with others who might report to your mother. Number 4, if she tries to find out information, answer, I'm not discussing this with you. If you insist, I will end the conversation. You are not under any obligation to share with your mother what happens between you and whatever kind of support you have. It's none of her business. It's none of her business. Even if every single session with your therapist or your support or your coach or your mentor or whoever is about your mother, because that's what you're talking about all the time, that's what you're dealing with, still, it's none of our business. It's your journey. It's your healing journey. You are seeking support for yourself to reclaim your life, not for her. So do not share with her and set your boundary. I'm not discussing this with you. It's none of your business. Let's change topic right now, or I leave the conversation. And 5th point, which I'm going to say again, is do not go to the same support as your mother. Don't go together, and don't go to the same people. Don't place anyone, again, in that position to be connected between you and your mother. No matter how highly recommended they come, no matter how much she's told you that that's the right person to support you, no matter if she's paying for your sessions. That's happened too. I've been there. All of a sudden, they're paying for it. Because you may not have the means, you may not have the money, and I get it. I really get it. But the minute that they start paying for that, then your mother at that point has an element of control, because she can then start asking for information. Do not go to the same person. Do not go together. Okay, so keep your sources of support to yourself. Don't share with your mother what you share in the session. Don't share it with others. Set your boundaries and keep it separate. Don't go to the same people. Bottom line of the entire episode is that when your mother is responding to what you're sharing with her, with the absolute truth that you are the one who needs help, she's not trying to help you. She's attempting to keep her own story of perfection or victimhood going and making you feel like you're the one who needs fixing. She's still trying to meet her own needs, whether she knows it or not. And it is not healthy or helpful to open up to your narcissistic mother about your mental health. She's not going to truly help. She's going to attempt to steer you in whatever direction she needs the most. Whatever comes next will be disempowering for you and to her advantage, whatever the version of it is. So seek support with trusted guides and find those who truly have your best interest at heart. Those are the people to seek support with, to open up with, and keep it separate from your narcissistic mother. And also remember that no matter what she's telling you, you are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. If you feel that she's been hurtful or toxic or abusive to you, there is obviously a truth in there, because that is what you're feeling. And if she just doesn't want to get it, that's because she's a narcissist and she can't get it. but it's not your problem. You are not the one that needs fixing. If you're seeking support, it's not because you're broken or weak or unable. It's because you deserve a space for your own healing and to reclaim your life and to find your identity. And we need support to do these things, especially when we've been conditioned from childhood of all the opposite. We've been conditioned to believe we're not enough, that we don't deserve anything, that we're broken, and all of that stuff. It's not an easy journey to do completely on your own, and you deserve the support, but not because you're broken and you need to be fixing. You are absolutely perfect. You have an inner compass, you have an inner wisdom, and the more you train yourself to tap into that and trust that, the more you're going to reclaim your life one step at a time. So with that, I'm going to say, if you are feeling that you have questions on this, you can send an email at matilde@womenreclaimingtheirfullness.me. If you feel like you would like more support, you can check out the one-on-one 10 weeks program, and also Reclaim Your Fullness community, which is actually open. The doors are open this week for the May intake. And yeah, with that said, I'm gonna send you lots of love. Wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye for now.